hell was that?
I love that song. That's I listen to that on repeat.
How long did it take you to make that countdown?
I didn't.
You didn't? I was wondering because you used it even when we were late.
True. Hey, we look forward on the Grizzled Geek Podcast, not backwards, all right? Welcome, everybody, to the Grizzled Geek Podcast, episode 54. I'm Mike.
I'm Doug.
And we have a special guest.
Hi, I'm Matt from Absolute Geek. What's going on, guys?
Nice.
I'm working on my Grizzled. I'm working on my Grizzled just for you guys. I thought I'd come on, you know.
I was going to say, you look more Grizzled every day.
Work on my Grizzle a little bit.
The mark of someone working from home.
That's right.
Nice. How's everybody doing?
Well, you know,
good.
Surviving.
Yeah. All right. Making sure we got everything going here. No technical issues. We've been troubleshooting some new equipment. I got, a new mic, new camera. Had
looking
lighting
professional.
Around. I know. Look at this.
Stepping that game up, man.
See, I kind of resisted doing the whole, streaming from, in this environment I'm used to in studio kind of all together. But I don't know. I like this. I think this is how we're going to do it. You guys, we learned from you guys. You taught us well over there at the Absolute.
Hey, man. Yeah.
Matt, how long you guys have been doing this? I mean, you just celebrated a milestone.
6 years. Yeah, 6 years and 500 episodes.
Nice.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's been a trip. Long, strange trip it's been.
Nice. Old hat at this, I'm telling you. I want to take a moment to welcome everybody listening. According to my Libsyn statistics, there's a whole lot more of you downloading and listening to us now that we're actually fixed the problem that was stopping us from getting out everywhere. So now we've got a lot more people listening to the podcast, and we really appreciate it. If you are listening, which most of you are, they get this, and want to see what we look like, you can check us out at youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek, where we have all these are live streamed on Friday, archived on there, plus all other videos that, we haven't been working on. Actually, we have been working on, and it hasn't been working out very well. Doug and I, we filmed reviews, reactions and reviews to the Batman stuff we're going to talk about today. Batman, Snyder Cut, Suicide Squad, and it turned out none of those took. So,
and no idea why.
I think so. I think we fixed it, but filmed it. In the editing room, we're like, oh wow, this is not working. This didn't film right. Oh well. So just imagine that. We'll discuss it today. Today we'll do like more of a review instead of a reaction.
Yeah,
which would be better because now we actually have Matt with us, who has actually enjoyed a lot more of these than maybe Doug might have. I think Matt might be passing you up as the biggest Batman fan I know, Doug.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, used to be you. I don't know. You got to step up your game.
I'm the biggest comic book Batman fan there.
Oh yeah.
It trails off in the movies. I mean, the movies have gotten, I don't want to say progressively worse, but they always start on a high. Like Michael Keaton #1 was really good. Batman Begins was really good. Even the second one was good. The third one was all right, but it wasn't great, like the first two were. And then it kind of dropped off, and then they come up with, I like Affleck as Batman, but I don't like the movies he was in, if that makes any sense.
Fair enough.
And then the Batman.
We'll discuss the Batman later on. We'll see what you think about that. But before we jump into that, Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about Absolute Geek? You guys are going to be coming up next. Be sure to tune in for that. But what are you about?
Well,
show?
Funny you should ask, Mike. I mean, I'm sure your listeners have never heard anything we do.
I'm sure.
Yeah, we're I'm part of the Absolute Geek Podcast. Like I said, doing it 6 years. We are a geek nerd podcast, very much like you guys' self, except we kind of trail off into other things. We've been referred to as the The podcast, it's like sitting in the basement talking to your friends about comic books, and we have a good time on our show. And it's a little bit, it's probably a little bit more R-rated than your listeners are used to. Sometimes X-rated, depending on the conversation, but when belts are involved and just weird things go sideways. But
but it's a good time. It's a good time. Yeah. Usually, always there in the chat room checking it out. It is hilarious. You guys closed down the night for us. We got our hour in the beginning. You guys shut it down,
and then come spend 4 with us.
I know. I was going to say I've left. Gone and done other things, got something to eat, and come back, and you guys are still alive. I'm like, what's going on? Check back in. Man.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
What is the typical length?
About
3 hours.
Okay.
Because we feel like we're Joe Rogan over here, and we can do that. Yeah. I don't know.
I just talk for 3 hours.
We guest hosted on another show on Tuesday, Kyle and I, and the guys were like, oh, yeah, we do about an hour. And Kyle and I were like, cakewalk. They're not even warmed up yet.
Right. Hour. Telling you. Yeah, but we here at the Grizzled Geek, we keep it PG because we have other stuff to, well, not recently. Not in months, but we normally have other videos that, fly into that monetization area. But, I'm glad to have you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Doug, what have you been up to?
Oh, let's see. Played a little bit more of that Warhammer 40K Relics of War game. Gladius, Relics of War, something like that. Watched The Greatest Showman last week. That was pretty good. Hadn't seen it before.
Nice.
But it's on Disney Plus now. So that was, not much else. I've been working a lot. So, I work from home for my main job, and then 2 days a week, I go out and not 2 days, 4 days a week, 2 weekdays and 2 weekend days, I go out and DoorDash. So that takes up a lot of time. Probably going to go tonight because Melissa's she's doing solo stuff. So once we're done here, I'll probably go do some dashing as well.
Tell her I miss playing board games with her.
Yeah, we ordered a new connector for her boom, or for the boom mic. The top of her, she's got one of those ball swivel tripods.
Yes.
And we lost the plate for it, apparently. So we ordered a new one for that. And she wants to set up a system where you can have the boom with a camera over the board game so we can play games with people online.
Tell her she's to film more reviews of some of her newer board games.
Yeah, we got that was the other thing we played is this new pirate game. Well, it's not, I don't know how new it is. It's called Forbidden Waters or something like that. And it's pretty good. It's kind of like a less intense version of Gloomhaven as pirates. You only play the same pirate for like 4 adventures, and then there's other scenarios you can play. It's got like an app that reads the stuff going on to you. So choices you make, it'll say, this happens, blah, blah, blah. It's fun. Yeah, it was fun.
I was intimidated by Gloomhaven with all there's so many pieces of that game and so many moving parts. I'm like, I don't know. That's a lot to learn. That's like homework. I just want to play a game.
Just get pretty intense.
All right. Well, let's jump into it, guys. Let's talk about DC FanDome. So, DC FanDome was a huge success, guys. It was 22 million views across 220 countries. The Batman and Snyder Cut trailers alone got over 150 million views over the weekend. That was last weekend. So I'm sure it's more now. And then a spokesperson from Warner said that they got out to more people and spent less money than a Hall H day would have cost them, which is odd that he brought that up when discussing it, because they're talking about doing this every year now, having a DC FanDome. I don't know if they're going to have this much content every year. It just happened to fall on a time when they had a bunch of new stuff coming out, a bunch of big announcements. So, plus the fact that everybody's cooped up and waiting for. But if you look at the numbers that Comic-Con did compared to DC FanDome, I mean, I don't know. I would hate to see. You got to figure there'd be some physical presence somewhere, but then maybe not, because it seems like Marvel and DC have pulled out of Comic-Con. But even if they do have FanDome back when things get back to normal, whatever that looks like, that they'd have something like DC has for Star Wars, like Star Wars Celebration, where they actually have, it's mostly online, but they have physical, show that they have.
Maybe.
I would hope they'd have some kind of physical presence. What do you guys think? I mean, Matt, you saw all this, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was gonna let you guys go be a guest because I was gonna wait my turn. Being someone who's been to Comic-Con like you guys have, San Diego, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The difference between FanDome, I think FanDome did it really well, and I think that they did more numbers because they were more contained than Comic-Con at home was. Comic-Con at home was all pre-recorded YouTube videos, so you had to wait for that time slot, that YouTube, video to go live, and they kind of tried to do it like you're at a convention and like they stage their panels at home. So DC FanDome, you went on that page, it was self-contained, it was all right there. You watched all of it right there. You didn't have to go to any other videos. I just think it was more streamlined and better followed through than Comic-Con at home was.
Yeah.
I would love to see their numbers versus people being able to actually attend San Diego Comic-Con, because then I don't know. I don't know how well they're going to do there, but
right. What do you think about this? Oh, go ahead.
The medium just allows for more people. Regardless, if this had been a failure, and by a failure I mean a tenth of the numbers, you still were out to more people than Comic-Con. So, I mean, that's relative. Whether or not you got your base fired up, because realistically, Comic-Con it gets the people who are like us, who are going to put something out online fired up to then spread that message and get more views, to get you the millions of views, as people who are, influencers or whatever are going, wow, I saw this at Comic-Con, blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about it. They just skipped you having to go to San Diego to get the info. So now they personally got 22 million views, and they're going to have the same people talking about it again and doing reviews and reacting to stuff. So, I mean, it's a pretty smart move.
Yeah. What do you guys think of the obviously shots fired at Comic-Con? I mean, they come out and announce they got out to more people for less money than a Hall H presentation. That seems pretty, like, there was no need, to actually mention that, other than to take a shot at Comic-Con. I mean, that's the way it comes to me. I don't know what do you guys think of that?
Yeah.
I mean, you could say shots fired, but Comic-Con could come back and be like, return shots and be like, well, show me how much money you would have made in vendor hall sales at your booth. Show me how much money you're losing. You may be saving money on a Hall H compared to a Hall H presentation, but show us how much money you're losing because you're not getting those vendor hall sales. You're not getting, those autograph sales. You're not getting all that specialty stuff that you get going to Comic-Con.
Right.
Speaking of, did FanDome have any exclusive FanDome merch?
Not that I'm aware of.
No.
Okay. So that's something maybe they'll in the future capitalize on and put out FanDome merch along with if they continue doing this. Yeah, and that may have just been a negotiating tactic. You throw that out to kind of drive down the price of Hall H in the future. You want us to come back? Charge us less.
What makes me wonder is, how much does a Hall H presentation cost? If setting up this
now was the
DC FanDome,
was the actual quote a Hall H day or a Hall H presentation?
It said a Hall H day,
because Marvel and DC and any of the studios didn't typically run a whole day's worth of stuff. There were only 4 days to work with, and you had to get everything maneuvered in there.
A day in Hall H. I don't know what that,
Yeah, I wonder what that means. Whether that's, I mean, because I could see in the future, DC, Marvel, if they wanted to keep their base happy, you go to Comic-Con, you do an hour presentation that's a giant commercial for your independent thing. They're like, hey, blah, 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 here's some things you're going to see at DC FanDome.
Yeah.
Here's what you're going to see in our movies. This is what you're going to see in our own little virtual
teaser trailer. See DC FanDome for more for the full trailer or whatever. Yeah.
So we'll see.
But I think the thing they strategically did too is they didn't release times for any of this. So they said there was word of mouth that you're going to see your first look at Batman. You're going to see Suicide Squad footage. So there was word of mouth, and they put it out there brilliantly. We're going to announce a new DC movie. You're going to get all this stuff, but they didn't put time frames out for it. So you were forced to sit there and watch through their entire presentation to see this stuff. Because I would have loved to see what their numbers were if they were like, all right, we're gonna show the Batman 7:00 and see if their numbers are that high all day or if they just skyrocket at 7:00.
Drop off after that. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was well marketed. Definitely. I mean, they had about the same amount of time as, well, I don't know, because DC might have been planning this for a while now. I mean, Comic-Con kind of held out to the last minute, hoping they'd still actually have a physical presence, and then kind of threw theirs together pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, relatively speaking, for something this big. But I don't know, man. But there's a lot of stuff that came out, so let's dive in and talk about some of it. So obviously, we're going to start off with the big one, the Batman. I think that was the biggest draw. I think it's the most anticipated out of any of these movies for most people anyway. Probably not for Doug, but
nope. There was one on this list that's way more anticipated in my book.
Nice. I got one on this list that's like surprisingly I'm stoked for. But all right, so the Batman. So we know we got the first footage of it. We got to see, Colin Farrell in makeup. Looks like they put him in a fat suit.
Fat Colin. Fat Colin.
That's right.
Looks like I'm out of a job, boys.
No more penguin for you.
No more penguin for me.
That's why he did it. He's like, they cast him as they show that behind the scenes picture with his hair white and everything, and he's like, oh, did you see Matt on the
Absolute Geek Podcast? You see this fat guy on Absolute Geek Podcast dressed as a penguin? We gotta fix that.
Get me in a suit,
right?
Yeah. So this movie takes place in year 2 of Batman, I guess, and I guess the HBO Max series it's taking place in year 1. So the movie's gonna be a year before the series, I guess. I don't know. It's all information that came out there. But what do we think? I mean, Matt, you're the guest. What do you think of I mean, did this do everything for you? It
did. It did. I've probably seen this trailer about 30 times now. I mean, I've been on the Pattinson Batman train since day one. Everyone's like, "Oh, sparkly Batman." No, he's a good actor, man. And that part where he just beats up that thug and then I'm vengeance, shivers. That was enough for me. I was like, I'm good. I don't need to see a full trailer. I'm good. This is good. Let's bring this on. So
yeah, I mean, that was my biggest concern. I mean, I knew he was a good actor, right? I've seen him enough. I watched enough independent movies. I know he's a good actor. My only concern was the physicality of it, whether he could bring it, whether he could be intimidating as Batman. And I think that allayed that fear, that just that one scene alone did that for me. But I would say my reservations have to do with Bruce Wayne more than Batman himself. But then again, I guess I had the same reservations with Michael Keaton until I actually got to see him play, a mentally disturbed person.
Well, you're seeing a lot of comparisons all over the internet to Spider-Man 3's emo Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And like I've had this discussion with some of the guys that listen to our podcast, and you got to understand this is Bruce Wayne 2 years into being Batman, and he's still he's still kind of dealing with that whole loss of his parents, that whole thing. So he's going to have that edge, that broodiness to him, that driving force, which drove him to be the Batman, and it makes sense for him to be disheveled and not up clean cut, like, millionaire Bruce Wayne, because he's still learning how to juggle that double life of being Batman and
he hasn't developed
Bruce
that alter ego yet of
right.
Bruce Wayne.
And the Batman lifestyle is consuming him, so it makes sense that he's a little bit more darker, gothic looking, run down looking, and not like your upkeep billionaire should look in his three-piece Armani suits. And
I think it didn't help, but this was the first time ever that they decided to keep the eye makeup on after he removes the cowl.
Yeah,
like in all the other movies, all they're going back to Keaton. It's like he's got the eye makeup on when he's wearing the cowl. He pulls the cowl off, and then magically is no eye makeup. So I hope that I think that adds to the effect. But all right, Doug, give us your take on it.
To it as well.
And then
he's got the emo haircut going.
It's helmet hair.
He's fine as Batman, like you said. That scene is pretty intense. It is very year 1, 2-ish, I guess. I'm not too familiar with year 2 stuff, but year 1-ish, where he'd use a gun. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm not convinced on the Bruce Wayne front, but we shall see. I'm not convinced we needed this movie this soon after this many. And I guess I'm feeling DC frustration more than anything. Is just the, pick a lane kind of thing. It's like, stop going back and forth and just pick a lane. But I'm not going to get that. So I'll probably have to just.
We got to remember, this movie was originally, when you go back, this was supposed to be Affleck, right? When this movie was first announced and put out there, Ben Affleck was going to be his Batman. He was going to write and direct it, right? And then when he had to drop out from,
let's face it, he went back to rehab. Yeah.
Back to rehab and all this. And he was just too much. I think it was just too much pressure all at once and everything. So then Matt Reeves took over, and then he decided, I'm going to do something totally different with it, right? So it wasn't like they went, we need a Batman movie out, we need to reboot Batman. They kind of had to, right? There was like, we're going to have a Batman movie. Well, they didn't have to. You're right.
They didn't have to. Yeah.
Well,
and you didn't have to pick somebody who was going to do this reboot.
Right. That's true.
You could have decided on a recast and stick with the universe, but they didn't. So,
That's true. But, with Batman being an evergreen product.
I think the fact that, for all intents and purposes, the Snyderverse was dead until they all of a sudden they came out with this Snyder Cut controversy and talk. It was dead. Like people had moved on, and Affleck didn't want to be Batman anymore, and Henry Cavill didn't want to play Superman supposedly anymore, and you really only had Momoa and Gal Gadot standing. So, well, and Ezra Miller when he's not choking out fans, but it was done, and you got your Batman is your highest selling hero. You got to get a movie out with them, so they're going to move forward. And then all of a sudden, here comes the Snyder Cut, and everybody's coming back. And now you're going to have this big Batman controversy of who did it better the year these come out. Affleck or Pattinson. So hold your seats, people, because it's going to get crazy in our fandom here soon.
Yeah. So we're gonna have movies with them with both of them as Batman coming out. So
Team Affleck
into the Batverse. You're gonna have into the Batverse.
Into the Batverse, yeah. All right, and number 2 besides the Batman would probably be the Snyder Cut of Justice League, right? I figure that's the next biggest thing there. So, and one of the things that came out is during this, a DC press site leaked the premiere dates for it. So we know it's going to be 4 1-hour episodes on HBO Max, and it's going to premiere September 3rd of 2021. Is the premiere date?
Interesting time. Why wait that long if it's all theoretically all there and all ready to go?
They still got to get special effects and everything done with it. So, and they might have to do some
Fix Cavill's upper lip.
I don't think they're using any of that footage. I think all that footage with Cavill is reshot for Josh Whedon stuff.
Okay.
So I think most of Cavill's stuff for the Snyder Cut was already filmed. But even then, they still have to tie this movie together to make it 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure they got a lot of work to do and a lot of special effects to do. So I know they said they were under the gun to get that trailer out for the DC FanDome.
I'm just wondering what are they going to have to do to keep interest up for that long, over a year from now.
Yeah,
for a movie that already came out and failed.
I think
you come out with 4 1-hour episodes by a guy who many people already think ruined those characters. How much excitement is going to remain to see, did he screw it up more or did Joss Whedon screw it up more?
Here's the thing. I think, this may be an unpopular opinion, I don't think Josh Whedon screwed it up. I think Josh Whedon did exactly what the studio asked him to do. I think the studio interference is what screwed that movie up, right? They're the ones that insisted to keep it under 2 hours, to keep, they wanted a more bright, upbeat, all the criticism, basically everything that Josh Whedon did was what the studio told him to do, right? And then, he's a name, he'll get it, get in there and get it done, put his name on it. I have a hard time when everyone's like, well, look what, Josh Whedon did to screw this movie up. I have a hard time thinking this is a Josh Whedon movie. I mean, obviously his fingerprints are on it, but I think he was Josh Whedon doing what the studio wanted.
Yeah, corporate fall guy.
Yeah, corporate fall guy. That's
because I'm sure he came in and they were like, Warner Brothers was like, all right, we want the Avengers, but we want it with DC characters, and that's exactly what you got in Justice League. The same plot line, pretty much the same everything. Aliens from outer space come looking for a giant cosmic cube of energy. That's what you got. So he gave you what you wanted. You got the Avengers movie with DC characters, and he did his job. And I think he's going to be the fall guy in all this. And I think it's unfair that they're gonna compare these two because Snyder is getting 4 hours to fix this. And it's like Warner Brothers is like, we can't let this fail again, so we're gonna give you everything we can give you to fix this, and we're gonna give you 4 hours to fix this.
True. They even said they're going back and redoing his death from Batman versus Superman. So that whole him dying part is going to be redone and expanded on. So they're going back to fix. And he's had all this, this hindsight and everybody's opinion on it, right? So he's got all this to build it up. So if it's a better movie, he had a lot. I mean, there's a lot going into it for that.
So you're saying this is a lose-lose situation?
I don't think it's a lose situation for HBO Max. I think this is going to be big regardless. Because you figure if they put the money in it, this is like the money they would spend on a series, right? So if you take the money you would spend on a series and you give that to him to fix this up, you're going to get the kind of numbers you would get, for a new DC series or whatever. This is going to be huge. People, whether they like the movie or they don't like the movie, there's a ton of people that are excited to see it. A ton of people want to see it just to see it, right? Just to, for the comparison. I mean, we're all going to see it, right? I mean,
I think people will subscribe to HBO Max just to come see if it fails. They're gonna be more interested to see if it succeeds or fails.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing: whether good movie or bad movie, it doesn't matter at this point. It's already a success, just by the hype that it's built. It's going to do what they want it to do.
100%.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm skeptical.
I am too.
I think I'm skeptical on Mike's. It's already a success. I think I said a lose-lose situation on purpose, because if you go in and you watch the 4 hours and you go, no, that wasn't too bad. He made some improvements. Well, because they threw 4 hours and a ton of money at it. Of course, it's better than it was. And then if it doesn't, you go, you threw all that money at it and you still couldn't fix that piece of crap. So either way, people are going to be all like, meh.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it this way. It's going to be a spectacle no matter what. We're getting Darkseid, right?
That's the one part I'm excited
more
about.
Green Lantern footage. We're going to get some more stuff that's, they've already. I mean, how you screw up Justice League, like, is probably the biggest comic book property in the world, right? So they've already missed that step. So at this point, anything we get is going to be gravy on it. And the problem is, here's the biggest problem, I think. If it's amazing, what if it's amazing, right? And it's the Justice League we all wanted. It's the Justice League we want in the future, and we can't because that Justice League is done, right? That chance for having that Justice League going forward is done. I mean,
maybe
Affleck's gonna. I mean, they got him to put on, the cowl for Flash movie, but I don't think going forward, or Henry Cavill. I don't know. Maybe it's
didn't Cavill say he was willing to come back if certain things happen?
I don't know. It would just suck if it was really good and then we didn't get to continue that Justice League, But anyway.
Although there are other Justice Leagues you could put together.
Yeah.
If it was good enough, you could put together a Justice League that doesn't have to have Batman in it. That doesn't even necessarily have to have Superman in it. I mean, you would want them, obviously, but if you've got another Batman series going at the same time, then you've got Batman covered. Now you have Justice League who's got some other people in it. So who knows if that'll happen, but bring in Martian Manhunter would be the big one.
He's supposedly in Justice League. He's going to be in the Snyder Cut.
Yeah,
is he?
He's in the Snyder Cut, yeah. So that's exciting right there. Plenty of reasons to tune in for the Snyder Cut.
At what point do you stop calling this the Snyder Cut of Justice League? Because it's an entirely different thing now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he's taking the same footage and recutting the movie. They're giving him money to go back and digitally and CGI change things.
Yeah.
And add things that it's an entirely different property now. And like I said, you're giving this man 4 hours to do what Joss Whedon had an hour or 2 hours and some change to do. Like,
yeah,
you're setting it up for success, and that's kind of what, like, I see. Oh man, Justice League! I can't wait for the Snyder Cut. Blah blah blah. I was like, guys, quit being sheep, because you're gonna buy into this, and it's gonna be awesome, and then they're gonna be bring him back because it was popular, and then his next movie is gonna be dog crap again.
Yeah,
like, it's Zack Snyder. Let's not forget who this is.
Yeah,
I mean, come on now.
Yeah, I mean, this is the guy that, look what he did before. I mean, this movie may be awesome because he's got 4 hours to do it in hindsight, but look what he gave us when he was on his own, right? He gave us,
right.
Yep. So, yeah, you're right. So we'll see. Let's move on to Suicide Squad 2, The Suicide Squad. What do we think of this? I mean, we didn't get a full trailer. We got like a behind-the-scenes kind of footage, which I think... spoilers for anybody who don't want to get into spoilers here, but there was some kind of, anytime you do something like that, you got to expect fans are just going to tear into every single frame of footage from that and try and determine what they can. And there's two scenes in that where it looks like some soldiers in the background have masks that look like starfish on their face. So is that so everyone's pointing out Starro is the,
I thought they confirmed that. I thought that was already confirmed. Yeah, because there's footage of like him attacking the city. So I think that's confirmed.
I think that the footage they're talking about was because that's from Powers TV series. So they're saying like, hey, he made his first big screen debut, and the footage that's going around on the internet right now is he's like on a water tower and he gets blasted, and that's from that TV series that no one watched. Or I think it wasn't Powers. Powers is the Marvel one. Was the DC one about the? Anyway, it was a DC series from several years ago.
Oh, you're talking about the NBC one where they're like insurance adjusters in the DC? Yeah, okay, I got what you. Yeah. It's from that series. Probably the best scene from that series is Starro opening. It's episode 1 scene, but yeah, that's the one's going around now. But yeah, so there's more than likely it's Starro, because if you look at those images, you're like, yep, that's starfish on their faces. I can't see any other reason.
All right, I'm looking at the image blown up,
and
and it could just be a gas mask.
Okay. Wouldn't it be great if that's what it was? It was like, it's Starro. Or just for a goof, they had like starfish mask for some reason. Who knows? But I'm excited about this movie. I don't know about you guys, but Suicide Squad 2, after the disappointment of the first one, getting James Gunn in here is basically what it needs, because these are some goofy ass characters that they're drawing out for this, and who better to make goofy ass characters cool than James Gunn? I don't know, Matt. What do you think?
I'm down. I'm gonna see it. My biggest pet peeve was, you're in a Hollywood studio movie and you're getting millions of dollars to make this movie, and it looks like they just decided to be like, oh, we're gonna get the same guys that do the CGI for King Shark on the Flash to do them in the movie too, because that's exactly what it looked like. You would expect like more detail and him to look way better, and it's just like they just got the guys from the Flash to do it. That's cool. And
I'm hoping it's just because they put together behind the scenes for the fandom, and that they have more CGI work to do.
I hope so. And then John Cena's costume is ridiculous. He looks like a giant silver vibrator with that helmet on. Like, they just need to fix that.
Yeah,
like that outfit is atrocious. But
the comic outfit it's based on is
I know, but
it's
But finally, we're getting somewhat of a comic accurate looking Harley Quinn versus the over hypersexualized Harley Quinn. So that's cool.
Yeah. I will say, I mean, I like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. I mean, she was the one good thing about Birds of Prey movie, So, I mean, I'm excited to see her. And yeah, she does look. She's got her comic accurate costume. It took me a while to see was it DTK or DDK or TDK? I was like, who the hell is this?
Nathan Fillion?
Yeah, Nathan Fillion. I'm like, who's he playing? As the detachable kid. But they abbreviate it to, I'm like, oh my God, really? The guy who can take his limbs off from the 70s? Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm down. James Gunn's doing it. I'm in no matter what. So we'll see what's going on with that one. What about you, Doug? You a fan of you looking forward to this?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I was, as soon as it was James Gunn.
Yeah, I'll see it.
The first one was such a love-hate. I loved the characters. The story just sucked.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of disappointed to see that, like Will Smith didn't come back because I liked his character. I liked pretty much everybody in it.
It made me like a Jai Courtney character.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's got to give props for that, right? Somehow make you like Jai Courtney. I don't know. I'm excited about it. We'll see. Hopefully, King Shark does look better than that.
Yeah.
All right. The Flash. So we didn't get much about the Flash other than, I mean, the big announcement beforehand actually was that Ben Affleck's coming back as Batman. So Affleck and Keaton in it. Although they're saying like Reverse Flash is not going to be in it. So I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I guess it's all going to be based on Flashpoint, but I'm sure it's going to be way different.
Yeah,
with what they're doing. But yeah, here's the thing. I'm surprised. Like Ezra Miller is still attached to this. His images was all over all the promo stuff. So I guess they're sticking with him. I'm telling you what. If this was a Marvel movie, if it was Disney, he would not be starring in this. In the Flash.
I think it's because they've had so many problems with this movie, writers and directors leaving, and they're like, look, he choked somebody. I mean,
is the person alive? All right, we're good.
He didn't kill anybody, just choked her a little bit. We can get past this, and we don't want to have to recast the actor too. So
fair enough.
We'll just look past this one.
We even used him in the Flash TV show. So
yeah, he's already been. And apparently Grant Gustafson, who is Flash in that show, is confirmed to be in the Flashpoint movie.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
So yeah,
that's cool.
I like Grant Gustafson. I like that series. Titan season 3. It's going to introduce Red Hood and Barbara Gordon. I have a love-hate relationship with Titans. It's like an abusive relationship. Like every year I come back I forget how bad it beat me last
hoping
time.
they're gonna change.
They're hoping they're gonna change. It was a fluke. Maybe it'll be good this time. I don't.
I forgot how bad that last punch to the face hurt. I'm gonna come back for a little bit more.
I know, but when they throw stuff at you like, oh, we're gonna see like Red Hood and Barbara Gordon in it, I'm like, and I know I'm gonna do it again. I know I'm gonna go back and watch it.
But they're already messing it up though too.
I know.
Commissioner Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
You're not even getting Batgirl Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
And then you're not gonna get why didn't they just kill Jason Todd last season? If they weren't gonna give you Red Hood, drop him off the building and let him flop.
Right.
And then bring him back. And then it's more it's a bigger mystery then. Like, how is he still alive, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. At first, I guess in the beginning of the season, I'm like, I like Jason Todd. I like everybody in it. And then, what happens to my favorite character at the end of that season? I was like, oh my goodness, come on. Really? All right. And last but not least, I mean, there was a lot more that came out of DC FanDome, but a live action Static Shock movie announcement, I think was, I had to put that in here, even though that's kind of like way down on a lot of people's list. For me, I love Static Shock, right? I love that cartoon. So I think that's awesome. I'm like, I can't wait for, I don't know anything about it. There wasn't anything about it other than the announcement that they're doing it. So.
Yeah, but you skipped the highlight of the DC FanDome movie-wise.
Oh, because I was saving it for last. Yes,
Black
the Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Black Adam. Because surprisingly, I'm excited about this. It's kind of flew under the radar for a lot of people, but I mean,
did you watch the Black Adam bit about the whole past and all that? I was like, oh, this is perfect. This looks awesome. They got his motivation right, so it's cool.
I just want to see Rock in his physical form standing next to Rubber Muscles Shazam. And they should put him in spandex too, just to highlight the difference. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about that. Were you a Shazam fan, Matt?
Yeah. I didn't care too much for the movie. I thought it was only all right. I thought it was kind of overhyped, but for DC standards, it was decent. But I'm super stoked for a Black Adam. I just want to know who the villain's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Because you have to have a big villain,
especially with the Justice Society being in it. It's got to be somebody major. I don't know.
The name I keep hearing floating around is Vandal Savage, but I'm like, they just did that on Legends of Tomorrow. Do we really want to see Vandal Savage again on the big screen? But
well, they don't care about TV series messing with.
Yeah, well, he's just kind of an underwhelming bad guy. I mean, it's an okay concept, but it's not a superhero movie kind of bad guy.
Man,
I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Well, those are the big ones, the big highlights from DC FanDome. Matt, I'm glad you were here to go give your opinion on these because I listened to Downer Doug talk about emo Batman. Wanted someone excited about it.
We didn't even hit the best part of that trailer, and that's the Paul Dano Riddler.
Oh, the Paul Dano Riddler. When they cast Paul Dano, I was like, okay.
I'm just glad you're not getting the suit with the question marks and the cane and the bowler hat. Like, I'm cool with this redesign. I think he looks way more terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, I cautiously optimistic, I guess, is how I would more optimistic now than I was. Now that I got to see some footage, so it'll allay some fears for me. I'm excited about it. All right, let's talk a little bit about going to the movies now. Matt, I'm glad you're here because I wanted you in here because I know you got big plans this weekend.
I do.
You're heading out to see some movies because New Mutants, Bill and Ted are opening this weekend, and Tenet is following soon here. So it's the first time we're getting some big movies out there in the theaters. All the theaters are going through about all their preparations for keeping everybody safe. However, the experts are still saying it is not safe to go to the movies. And, I just want to get your take on this because I know you are out. You're going.
I'm going. Going to see
COVID
New
began.
Mutants tomorrow.
Nice.
Even though I hear it's terrible.
That. Yeah,
even though the reviews I see say it's god awful.
See, I was like, do I want to go to the drive-in and see it? Maybe to stay in my car and see it. Maybe I'm like, But then when you break it down, out of those 3 movies, really only Bill and Ted getting good reviews. Like Bill and Ted's got an 83% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I saw that today.
Tenet's getting mixed reviews. It's got a 72%. And then New Mutants is down. It's got 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it's getting lambasted.
Yes.
Forbes called New Mutants the worst X-Men movie ever, which kind of hurt my heart a little bit because I'm like, really? Worse than Phoenix?
The best review I've seen so far was it said all of the actors in this movie's careers would have been better off if they would have never made this movie. I'm like, oh man.
Oh, it's harsh. Hey, Charlie Tango, welcome. Yeah, definitely. We talked about a bunch of cool stuff.
It's rough.
Did you say that was the best review you heard?
That was the best worst review I've read. Yeah.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay. I was like, wow.
But even with all that, New Mutants is expected to come out on top this weekend's box office, and it's got an estimated take of 7 to 10 million. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't know. There's some of these movies, I don't understand why 7 to 10 million. I think it would have made more money if they did give it the Mulan treatment, right? I would have paid it. I'd be paying to see it. As now I'm not going out to see it. But
I don't know if I'd be paying $30 on top of your Disney Plus subscription to see it, but
then you own it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would make more money though. 7 million. But
with the way those reviews are, is it, then you will own it really a selling point?
True.
Yes, but with those reviews, is it worth risking your life to go see it?
Because you have to live that regret every time you turn on that Disney Plus or Voodoo, and you're like, oh man.
What if you did get COVID?
You go to the movies,
the story? How'd you end up getting COVID? I was watching New Mutants in the theater.
You got double lambasted right there.
Every cough, you're like, oh.
You got what you deserved. Go to.
Harkins reopened today, and they sent out their plans, and it's like instead of every other seat, it's every 2 seats. So you got two seats that you can occupy, then 2 seats empty. So it's every 2 seats. It's the same as going in an airplane if you're going to travel somewhere. I mean, going to the grocery store, you got to wear a mask when you're watching the movie. It just doesn't compute. Like, I'm going to take my little bottle of hand sanitizer and I'll sit there for an hour and a half with a mask on and no one touching me. I don't really see the big deal there.
Put some goggles on.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's going to come through my eyes now. Just soak it.
They will.
Corona's going to get you one way or another.
Here's the thing. If people are all wearing masks, everything, I'm not going to go. But, I can still see it being safer. But people are going to take their masks off to eat munching popcorn. Yeah. And I'm just like, come on, man. Just go without popcorn for 2 hours so I can enjoy a movie and get out of the house. That's all I want. Apparently, Kingsman was another one that was supposed to open up the 18th of September. It was supposed to come out right after Tenet. However, the Kingsman, which is Matthew Vaughn's Kingsman prequel, it's got moved from September 18th to February 28th, 2021. So far, this is what Disney's done. Disney's Mulan, PG-13, went to Disney Plus. The Kingsman, R-rated, got pushed off because that's still going to theaters. They don't have a platform for it yet. So where does that leave Black Widow? Thing is, I'm like, I don't know. If you look, I think once the box office comes out for these weekends, especially Tenet will be the big one. Obviously, Bill and Ted's kind of split half and half because I'm going to see Bill and Ted's this weekend, but from my living room because you can buy
I saw it today.
Did you? Was it good?
It's fantastic. Yep, I've watched it twice now. It's really good.
So I'm going to see that. But I don't know, man. If it makes money, or if Tenet bombs at the box office, if it doesn't make any money, if it walks away with 10 million its opening weekend, then we might see Black Widow, Disney Plus in it. who knows? Or they might be stacking their deck like they're planning on doing it with Disney Plus next year. As where Netflix and HBO Max haven't started productions for stuff next. There's going to be a drought for the first half of next year for original streaming stuff, right? We're not getting like Witcher and everything till like fall of next year and all this stuff because they had to stop production. That's where they've got Mandalorian season 2 up on deck, ready to go. WandaVision, they're pushing off Falcon and Winter Soldier till next year. I think Disney Plus is stacking the deck early on next year when they're the only ones going to have original content, really. You know, because Netflix has got to wait till end of summer before, you know, they can get their stuff going because they had everything had to shut down to get everything out there. Unless they rush stuff to get it out. I don't know.
I think you're going to see a renaissance in content, though, because you have these small productions that are, you know, 3, 4, 5 person crew that can just get a camera and go. Have been able to make things, so I think you're going to see a lot more smaller production stuff coming out than the big overproduced stuff. So I think you're going to have kind of like the indie creator renaissance in, as far as the streaming stuff goes, and you're going to see more small creator stuff coming out that
more
that
documentaries
versus maybe,
like
but or just like I know there's a new show coming out on Netflix they're talking about already that was filmed during the quarantine, and it was the cast all filmed themselves in their houses with their own cameras, and they send in their footage and they cut it together to make a series out of it. So I think you're going to see a lot more small stuff like that versus the big production stuff.
And that could be cool. I mean, I like small indie stuff, so like being surprised by that kind of stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I don't know. I want to go to the movies. I'm just not ready to at this point. I'm ready to, you know, not until there's some kind of vaccine, which won't be out till early next year, which we will probably won't roll around to getting us till
you're not going to buy the Russian one?
No.
The Sputnik 12 or whatever it's called?
I was going to say, yeah. I'm like, get on that. We need to get yeah, I think Solo Wookiee's saying you see more stuff like the Mandalorian style of shooting.
Yeah.
You know, because that's, I mean, the reason why that didn't get shut down at all, and they're talking about it won't affect season 3, is because it's all in studio. They can control who goes in. You know, there's no location shooting. It's all like projection screen. Or not even projection screen, like, you know,
green screen
video. Well, actually, it's not even green screen because the actors actually see it.
Yeah,
where they're, you know, where they're in. So it's actually cool.
What they call it, the tank or something like that.
Yeah,
it's 360. Well, it's 300.
It's like a video game engine
around, and it's above them too.
Yeah. So when they're on Tatooine, they're on Tatooine. Like the lighting's
only
right.
The
so they don't.
floor is practical sets. Everything else is digital.
That's awesome.
And so they can actually walk through it, and the scenery will change, and the lighting will change with them. So it's, you know, it's basically, once again, Lucasfilm leading the way with technology, filming technology.
Well, not exactly, because a lot of it was pioneered on the other Favreau's work on
Jungle
Book and the Lion.
Perfected Lucasfilm, though.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys. Let's talk a little bit about, well, last thing I'll say on this is, well, Tom Cruise, Edgar Wright, and New Mutants director Josh Boone are actually encouraging people to go to movies. Doctor Strange director Scott Derrickson took to Twitter to implore people not to go see Tenet in theaters specifically. I don't know whether he's got a thing against Tenet or just like, no. He's basically saying it's not safe. He wants to enjoy the movie, but it's just irresponsible to go see it in the theaters. So that's coming from Scott Derrickson. So, you know, Doctor Strange was good, but take that for what you will. All right, guys. It looks like we're gonna get in a few of these nerd nuggets. I know probably won't be able to get them all, but I'm glad we're gonna jump into a little bit here just so I can show Doug this.
Nice.
We actually have we're working on one. It didn't get rendered in time for this, but the ending of that's going to have like a hand coming down with a nugget into dipping sauce and dipping sauce going over the screen. That's our transition.
That's what it needs to be.
Yes.
Effort well spent.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. What else am I going to be doing? All right, so first off, I'll kick it off. Resident Evil series is in development at Netflix. Series will focus on Wesker's daughter, and the 8-episode series has Supernatural's Andrew Dabb as showrunner. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Are we excited about Resident Evil series? I mean, the movie series is kind of like ran its course a long time ago for me, personally. But I don't know.
Could care less about this one.
I'd be more excited if it was more based on like Resident Evil 2 or the video games, and instead of them bringing in like Wesker's daughter for.
Yeah, I'm like, come on. All right, Doug, what are you going to hit us with the next one?
All right, Dune update. The trailer is set to drop, or a trailer for it is set to drop September 9th. New Empire covers show new images and first look at Sandworm. So that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like a mouth. I should pull these up, but well, I didn't know. Let's imagine a giant sandworm mouth coming up. I don't know, Doug. You're the Dune fan. Are you super excited for this?
I'm still excited about. I'm wait for this. I do not want to see this on a streaming service or anything like that. This is got to be at the movies.
I know.
So
wouldn't it suck if they push it through? It's like, oh, it's coming out.
Is that one worth raiding the Rona for? No. Still not even that, huh?
Wow, Dune won't get dug in the theaters. I don't know. He's not going. What about you, man? You excited about Dune?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what they make out of it on the big screen and see what all the hype's about.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see it done right. Well, I mean, the TV series kind of did back in the 90s. The sci-fi series actually did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
All right. Stephen King's The Stand sets premiere date for December 12th. It'll be a 9-episode series on CBS All Access. Still, I don't think it's enough for me to get CBS All Access. So, not even with the Picard cherry on top, I don't think it's enough for me to get CBS All Access. What about you guys?
No.
Nope. Yeah. All right. Poor Stephen King. I actually like the old 90s series too, but oh well.
Yeah.
All right, Doug.
All right, trailer for Enola Holmes premiered this week. The Netflix movie stars Millie Bobby Brown and lands September 23rd, and it looks cool. I watched the trailer before we started, and it looks pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited for it.
I will say I did not expect,
Henry Cavill
as Sherlock Holmes. That seemed, when I think of Sherlock Holmes, I do not picture Superman. But I will admit, I mean, he didn't look all like super buffed out, but still.
I mean, looked like he was having fun in the role.
Right.
So.
All right. I think we have time for one more of these. Doug, why don't you hit us with the big scoop, the Eternal scoop?
Eternals drops the from their title. I want you to skip down that far.
That's a big one. That's an important one.
Yeah.
So
now it's just Eternals.
James Gunn joked that his buddies at Marvel dropped it so he could use the for Suicide Squad. Because instead of Suicide Squad this time, it's the Suicide Squad. All right, and the last thing we want to talk about real quick here before we go, the Hellboy role-playing game from Mantic has 9 days to go on his Kickstarter. It's already shattered his goal of $39,744 with a total, as of this writing, of $310,887. And like the Walking Dead game, the miniatures are going to be based on the comic aesthetic of Mike Mignola's art as opposed to, the movies. So the Mantic is a miniature company. They're known for their miniatures. So they've got... and they put some good ones out there. I'm going to real quick share the screen so you can see what the miniatures look like. There we go.
Does one of them look like a demon with a giant rock hand?
It does. Shockingly, it looks like the Mike Mignola art. So yeah. So the miniatures look pretty good for this. But usually with a role-playing game, you don't get miniatures, but it seems how that's what Mantic's known for. That's where the big draw is the miniatures. Yeah. When I heard it was based on Mike Mignola's art, which I like Mike Mignola's art, but I was like, really? They're going to make miniatures off that? How are they going to stand up straight? But it turned out pretty good. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us this week. Thank you for joining us. Matt, thanks for being part of this. Be sure to go
absolutely anytime.
Check out the Absolute Geek Podcast coming up in a half hour here, where Matt will take you through the rest of your Friday night.
Yeah.
Matt and the guys.
Yeah. Now he's warmed up. He can go 5 hours tonight.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Get that first hour in there.
Oh man, I mean, this show is so riveting. I'm spent. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do 4 hours, man.
Exactly. You see Matt and Kyle and the boys. Kyle, the future face of Bullet Bourbon.
Yeah, he's trying hard, isn't he? He's trying hard.
Well, Solo Wookie, thanks for joining us. Charlie Tango, we appreciate it. All you guys listening, all the new people listening out there on podcast. If you want to check us out or see what that sound effect was for the transition for Nerd Nuggets, come check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/The Grizzled Geek. And if you're already there and you want to support us, Doug, how can they do that? There's 3 links down below. What are they?
Well, you got our Teespring store with the shirts you see in the background if you're on YouTube, and our Patreon. But if the statistics are anything to go by, most of you are clicking on that Amazon affiliate link before you do your Amazon shopping. We get a small kickback when you do that. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And thank you for all of you who have done that so far. It's
we
really
appreciate
helping
it.
us out. Thanks.
Yeah.
Awesome.
As you can tell by the new mic and camera and all the cool stuff. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Matt, thank you. Anytime
thank you guys.
Stop by, just let us know.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's always a pleasure, guys.
Kirsten will be back with her Weeb World review next week. So we'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Later.